Walk with me.
A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. The I Am is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and fear of the I Am are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the forward. He that doeth keep his soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out. Yea, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips the king shall be his friends. The eyes of the I Am preserveth knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. The slothful man saith, There is a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets. The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the I Am shall fall therein. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction drive it far from him. Proverbs chapter 22, verses 1 through 15. Yeah. All praises to the Most High. We thank God for this beautiful day. We thank, although it's raining where I'm at, but we thank God the weather is cool, and also it helps in not burning so much electricity to keep cool. But anyway, we thank God for you, and we thank God how He's moving throughout all the earth, lining things up for that great and notable day. That day that we shall all rejoice, that are of the seed of Jacob, and those of us that have joined unto Jacob and chose the Most High as our habitation, as we allow ourselves to become His habitation. And we thank God for that. Yes, you're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay, and yes, today we're in the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 10. And we've discussed that before. We took a little break. We take a break here and there, just try to not be burnt out or anything, just a little break for a few days or whatever. And we thank God for that. But either way, the law still continues. God still judges by His statutes, commandments, judgments, and laws. And there's no escape. You can't get over the law. You can't go under the law. I don't care how much other factions and denominations of the children of Israel, the laws of the children of Israel, try to say things or do things. The law stands. It has no end. It has no beginning. For even the lawgiver has always had these laws with him. And everything that liveth, breatheth, inanimate or animate or biological or whatever you want to call it, there's a law to it. There's a law to steal. Yeah, you can melt it and shape it into thing, but it also abides by law. It has so many electrons and protons and everything. Everything has a law. That's only a minute part of different inanimate objects and animate objects. We all have a certain number of electrons and neutrons and all those things. That's part of our makeup. But the biological part is very complex. and still made up the same electrons, neutrons, protons, whatever you want to call it. Yes, we are. By design. Yes, man can play with it and manipulate it or whatever, but it won't turn out good. It will not turn out good. But nevertheless, the Most High knows those that are His. Now, Nehemiah chapter 10. Nehemiah had to deal with Sanballat and Tobiah. Nehemiah also, he had overcome them, and now the temple is built. The people have given their lives, they've changed their ways by noting the law. And that's one thing we should always pattern our lives after, is the law. We live in a heathenistic society, a global heathenistic society. They work by the calendar of the Greco-Roman or the Gregorian calendar, which is a change of the times. The signs. This is anti-Christ. You are anointed. The anointing comes through the Word as you obey His law, statutes, commandments, and understand and know the Most High. This is where the anointing comes. This is how you anointed, by your understanding and knowing the Most High, and that's through His commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws. I never stop saying it because the fact is, it is so true. So, Nehemiah chapter 10. They have given their lives back, and they start to obey, and they sacrifice, and they kept the feast. They kept the Feast of Booths, creating booths wherever they can to dwell in. I know in the lands that we live in, everybody's not doing it. People would laugh at you. Yes, that happens. Booths. Does that look like stalls made out of wood or tree branches or whatever, dead leaves or whatever, dead branches? Stack them up, make a booth. Tie them together, make yourself a booth. If you have a flat roof, make it on a flat roof, not a gable roof. It's not gonna go well with you. But either way, in your backyard or whatever, make a booth. But in this land, you would be deemed as mental. But nevertheless, Nehemiah chapter 10. And now those that sealed were Nehemiah, Tishatha, and the son of Hakaliah, and Zidkiah, and Sariah, and Azariah, and Jeremiah, Pashur, and Amariah, and Malchiah, and Hattush. I say the J as a Y in order to curb that fake. It's only for the colonizers. It's nothing to those who have dreamed up another word to try to mispronounce, to own things. So you take that with a grain of salt. But either way, Shebaniah, Maluk, Harim, Miroth, Obadiah, Daniel. There's that word Daniel. Could that be the prophet Daniel? Could be. Ginnethon, Baruch, Meshullam, Abijah, and Mijamin, or Mehimin, Mosiah, Bilgah, Shemaiah. These were the priests. So we know that these were the priests. Was Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a priest. Yes, he was a priest. As well as these others that are mentioned here. And the Levites, both Yeshua and the son of Azaniah. So we know that Yeshua is a Levite name. It's a Levitical name. Yeshua, yes. Jesus wasn't a Levite. not by his father, which should have been Joseph. God don't beget. He don't lay with other men's wives that he's given other men. Neither does he allow his spirits to do so. So that strike that out the box. So never existed. It was by some other name. The son of Azaniah and Benul of the sons of Henadad and Kadmiel, and their brethren Shebaniah and Jodiah and Kelita and Peliah and Hanan, Mitchah and Rehob and Hashabiah and Zakur and Sherebiah and Sherebaniah, Hodiah, Bani and Beninu, chief of the people of Parash of Parhath Moab. So apparently this was a Moabite. Etham, Zatu, had something to do with Moab. Zathu and Bani. Now we had Bani, Asgad, Bebai, Ajana, Bigvai, Adin, Atar, Hizkajah, Azor, Hodijah, and Hashum, and Bizai, and Harifi, and Anathoth, and Nebai, and Macpiash, and Meshulam, and Hezur, and Meshiabil, Azok, Jadur, and Palatiah, and Hanan, and Hananiah, and Hosea. Could that be the Hosea we're thinking about? We don't know. Hananiah, Hashbub, and Halarish, and Pelaiah, and Shobik, and Behom, and Hashbana, and Maasiah, and Hayah, and Hanan, and Hanan, and the rest of the people, verse 28, the priests, the Levites, and the porters, these are doorkeepers, the singers, and the Nethinim, they were the one who's to service the priest, and all they that had separated themselves from the people of the land. This is what God calls you to do. Separate yourself from the people of the land. They are not, whether they be Hebrew or not, they are not who you think they are. Separate yourself from those who walk contrary to the law. Those who have chosen this so-called Messiah over the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods. They bow, they worship. They sing his praise. They put him next to God, and they're mentioning to the Most High, even the I Am. Or some of you call him Yahuwah, Yahweh. Tata and Zambis and Ninanini, all the names that you bestowed upon the Most High in your language. Yes, Allah, yes, that means God in Arabic. Arabic is a language. Okay? Now, it says now, and the sons and their daughters and everyone having knowledge and having understanding, they separated themselves from the people of the land unto the law of the I Am. This is what we do. This is what means sanctified. They sanctified themselves, if you want to put it in that context. It says they sanctified themselves unto the law of the I Am. In other words, I don't have nothing to do with you. If you have nothing to do with the law, if you have nothing to do with God, my all in all, the one, the lawgiver, the one that I address my life upon and I set the pattern of my life toward, yes, separate their wives, their sons, and their daughters, and everyone having knowledge and having understanding. They separated themselves from the law and having understanding. Now it says, and they clave to their brethren, those who are like-minded. Could you imagine? This is why the Paisos picked up these people. The New Testament is a very good work of art. I mean, it is so cunning. It is very cunning. If you do not know the Old Testament, neither the things of the Most High, you will have your Sabbath on the Sabbath day. You would have the full moon on it would be your new month. You will be all off on everything. You have to know and understand the Most High. And some things God did not give everybody except for a select few to understand and know. Who cares? I was listening to one young lady on YouTube. Who cares where, should I say, the Nile and Hiddekal and it's the keeping of the commandments, period. And not having no one beside the Most High. He shares his glory with no one, not even your Isas, your Yahawashai, your Yahusha. He doesn't share his glory. He has no son. He does not beget. He's the creator. And everything like Christianity, Islam, and nothing but denominations of this main thought. The law, statutes, commandments. Just like Christianity has its denominations that veer off from their New Testament. Islam has its denomination that veer off from the hadiths and in the Quran, as you pronounce it. But anyway, they separated themselves, their daughters, and everyone having knowledge and having understanding, and they clave to their brethren. Cleave to your brethren who have knowledge, who follow the law, who does the things that are right before the Most High. And entered into a curse and into an oath to walk in God's law. Enter into a curse. Yes, it's a curse. As far as I understand this, a curse is the curse of those who walk not, those who walk contrary. In other words, why are you doing this? Why are you if we decide that we want to sacrifice unto the Most High by fire, we would probably go to jail and then be deemed as mental. Yes. This is the way they are. They clave into a curse and into an oath to walk in God's law, which was given by Moses the servant, to observe and do all the commandments of the I am our God, and his judgments and his statutes. In other words, they're saying, if I be cursed because of this, I'm going to be cursed, but I rather follow God. I rather follow the I am. And that we would not give our daughters unto the people of the land, not take their daughters for our sons. Why? You're training your daughters and your sons in the way that they should go, keeping your daughters and your sons virgins until the appointed time. Yes, keeping them virgins. Sometimes it means separating the children, the females from the males, or whatever, because foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, period. And then there you go, puberty pops up, and there are things that happen. But God has a remedy for that. Marriage. Now giving them unto a heathen and it's like one who follows the law. I ain't talking about those who the definition of a Hebrew Israelite, which is basically a Christian Hebrew Israelite. That's all that is. Because you understand that churches are using the same idea, should I say, pronunciations. Oh, shalom and all this other stuff. Get out of here. No. The New Testament should, if anything, you should always have the Torah by it. Although it's flawed. Yes, the Torah is flawed. The Old Testament is flawed because of the heathen. But the law stands sure. The historical accounts may give you a little flip up and some crazy stuff, but that's just to help you understand God, to help you understand that the Most High does not play, and that the Most High judges, and how he judged according to his law, or the law that he'd given to Moses, the people of Jacob. Yes. Now, they would not give their sons. This has nothing to do with colors. But they would not give their sons unto the people of the land. Who are the people of the land? Pagans. Not take their daughters for our sons. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath. For on the holy day that we would leave the seventh year in the exaction of every debt. In other words, on the Sabbath day, you have your commercialism. You have people ready to sell. This is the heathen. This is why they chose to keep Saturday as the Sabbath. And, you have your Saturday Sabbaths, your full moons. And it's a program thing. You see, God's program is you count 7 days from the new moon, and that is the Sabbath. That is the rest. 7 days from the new moon. When the new moon appears, blinks, shows just like a baby showing his head out of a mother's womb. That is it's a new life. It's coming. It's new to this world. And the same thing with the Sabbath. 7 days after the new moon, and 7 days thereafter until the next new moon, and then you're going to do the same cycle over again. This is how the Sabbath works. It's natural. It's nature. Who is nature? It's not a she. That's cursing God. God created nature. God is the nature. God's the nature of space, time, and every molecule, every atom, every proton, neutron. Yes, it is the Most High, even the I am that I am. So you can't let these Satans and all these other people bamboozle you. God is all in everything, even in your New Testament. Your New Testament, was it declared? Excuse me. Now, they made an oath to walk in God's laws in verse 29, which was given by Moses, the servant of God, and to observe and to do all the commandments of the I am, our God, in his judgment and statutes. Verse 30, that we will not give our daughters unto the people of the land, nor take their daughters for our sons. No, only give them unto those who walk in the commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. Yes. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath. The Sabbath could be Monday, or whatever you call your pagan days, your Monday through Fridays, or whatever. Your Gregorian calendar could be on any day, depending on the cycle of the new moon. Or on the holy day that we would leave the seventh year and the exaction of every debt. We're not going to do that. In other words, we are a people, we are a nation, we are a entity, we are sovereign. We do not walk by the auspices and the laws of this world, although the laws that our God have given us, their laws are secondary, because their laws still obey the same. But yet they have their paganistic ways in their laws. And this is how they have changed the laws and the times. It's through their laws. Even the New Testament have changed the laws and the times. All the way even through the Maccabees and all these other things, they have changed the laws and the times. 32, and also we made ordinances for us to charge ourselves yearly with the third part of a shekel for the service of the house of our God. Yes, in other words, just to give it to the Levites so that they might repair or whatever the house of the Most High, which was in Jerusalem. For the showbread and for the continual feast meat offering and for the continual burnt offering and of the Sabbath and of the new moons. Didn't talk about no full moons, the new moons. And for the set feast and for the holy things and for the sin offerings to make. The full moon is not the new moon. I mean, this is even a roach understands that. But men, we have gone off the deep end for some reason. It's weird. I mean, the new moon had been established for thousands of years as when the moon appears out of darkness. The first glimmer of light is the new moon from at night or during the day, if you can spot it. But the Levitical priest was good at this, and they could tell people when the Sabbath or the new moon would be, and the people would govern themselves accordingly. Now, he says, for the feasts, for the holy things, and for the sin offerings, to make an atonement for Israel, and for all the work of the house of our God. And we cast the lots among the priests and the Levites and the people for the wood offering. The wood offering to bring, I mean, they had to have stacks of wood to burn, to sacrifice unto the Most High. Yes, they had to burn it. They didn't have all these machines to slaughter, and God don't want that anyway. He wanted you to do it. He wanted them to do it with their bare hands and a knife to cause this animal to be slaughtered, his blood spilled on the ground because of the gross sin of the people, not a man. And then the man was sacrificed by sinners. Oh, we can be so silly sometimes. But either way, and those who were not of the Levitical priesthood, they had no authority to delegate sacrificial things unto heathen. No, they did not. God have appointed them to be those who attend unto him, just like he appointed up in his realm or the heavens to worship and praise and glorify him. He didn't tell no demons to come do that. They were cast out. They walked in the shadows around the realm of the Most High. Now, he said to make atonement for Israel and all the work of the house of our God. That's what they did with the money and all this stuff. And we cast the lots among the priests, the Levites, and the people for the wood offering to bring it into the house of our God, after the houses of our father, at times appointed year by year, to burn upon the altar of the I am our God, as it is written in the law, and to bring the first fruits of our ground and the first fruits of all trees year by year unto the house of the I am. Why did they do this? So the Levites might eat. Those who, the temple Solomon built had to be serviced. Had to be serviced continually, 24/7. Because this is the way it is in eternity. There is no ceasing of praise. There is no ceasing of thanksgiving. There is no ceasing of giving God the glory. Eternity just is. That's it. Nothing else. Now he says, now, also the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstlings of our herds. Do God eat the firstlings of their sons? No. Presenting them before the Most High, as it is written in the law. How do we present our sons? Circumcision. Circumcision and reading of the law. Now that is something different. Okay. If we had the book of the law, we would have more of a clear understanding of what God is saying here. But the book of the law has been taken away. All we have is historical account of the law. That's it. And the firstlings of our herd and of our flocks, and to bring to the house of our God unto the priests that minister in the house of our God. That we should bring the first fruits of our dough. Yeah, dough. And our offering and fruits of all manner of trees. What dough? Unleavened bread. The dough. They would bake it there. Yes, in the temple or near the temple. Of wine and of oil unto the priests, to the chambers of the house of our God. And the tithes of our ground unto the Levites. And the same Levites might have the tithes in all cities of our tillage. So now your Christian preachers have taken your tithes, haven't gotten jets and all kind of beautiful multi-million-dollar houses and all of this. Yes, you're pagan. Yes, Christian, you are pagan. I mean, if anybody would be closer than you, it would be Islam. They're not even that way. They have their denominations, and where as you get into the more rich, they get more pagan. But the ones who are devout are not pagan. It's just like Christianity. Even in where they have denominated their beliefs from, the same thing. You have those even in calling themselves going by the law that are pagan, and that they walk after Christianity and other religions, and then add and throw the true Most High to the back, and put this Jesus and Muhammad and everybody else to the forefront, and the Hamashiach Mama and all this other junk, whatever. God knows. He says, to the chambers of the house of our God, tithes to the Levites. Verse 38, and the priests, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites. Yes, he's talking about the lineage which is high priest. They are the line of high priests, the sons of Aaron, the lineage of Aaron. When the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe unto the house of our God, to the chambers, into the treasure house. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the offering of corn. You know, corn was, it is said that corn, the narrative goes, corn was first discovered in North America. It was not the United States at that time. In North America, South America. This is the land they say corn was. Yes, but was corn there and it was brought over? Because you have to realize we have Pangea, whereas one time there was no continent. The world was one big continent on the earth. One big landmass upon the earth. So really all the maps and things that you say you see and that you think you see may not be exactly where things were because of the moving of the land. So he says, and the priest of Aaron shall be with the Levites. The priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites. When the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithes into the house of our God, to the chambers, into the treasure house. So this is where you say they go into the land over there in Palestine that they call by the name of Jacob, and they call themselves going to choose the red heifer and choose the high priest. This is paganism. This is an abomination unto the Most High. And you wonder why things are happening the way they're happening. Only the line of the sons of Aaron can be high priest. That's it. It shall be with the Levites. And when the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithes into the house of our God, to the chambers, into the treasure house. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the offering of corn, of new wine, and oil unto the chambers, where are the vessels of the sanctuary, and the priests that minister to the porters, and the porters and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of our God. In other words, the line of Aaron is only ones that can go into the holies of holies after it has been sanctified, and that's it. So this is Nehemiah giving you the order of things and how the temple have come back in Judah, has also come back into the normal order of things as it was ordered by the Most High. And if we keep those things that are right before the Most High, even His commandments, statutes, and ordinances, we will have peace.
Walk with me.